Good afternoon, traders. It's Bill Baruch with Blue Line Futures, and this is the FX Rundown. A quiet morning and the dollar index rallied. It stalled again, 95 and a quarter. We remain range bound to the downside. We need to see a move below 94.75 in the near term to encourage further selling. Ultimately, that would start to negate the recent uptrend above 95 and encourage a belief that we can see this thing top out. Now, we remain long-term dollar bearish, and we think this is a topping pattern. However, we need to see a move ultimately down below 94 to secure a bigger and longer failure. What we did see this morning was comments from Fed member Barkin that the Fed should continue to raise rates, but ultimately so they have something in their pocket in order to fight a recession or slowing growth later on. The dollar topped out on that and then saw further selling pressure on comments from JP Morgan saying that they would not be surprised to see President Trump sell dollars as a weapon in the trade war. This just before noon Central Time, you started seeing the dollar weaken. You saw currencies across the board strengthen. The U.S. Treasury market also strengthened upon a 10-year note auction. So a combination of that helped foreign currencies such as the Aussie, the Canadian, move from early lows. Now the euro is up against 116.45. This is a level that we talked about throughout the week. The breakdown earlier in the week needs to close back above there to neutralize that weakness. We're watching that closely. You have the ECB bulletin tomorrow at 3 a.m. Central Time. On the Canadian front, you have the dispute between Saudi Arabia and Canada. Saudi Arabia ended all diplomatic ties with Canada, but the Canadian dollar finished positive on the session. Despite crude oil getting hit hard, losing about $2.50. So we're seeing the Canadian battle back above 76.79, a level that we like being bullish above, leaving a tail on the session as well. It is fighting off a weak IVPMI number yesterday, and then really lifting off of that news as the dollar weakened through middle part of the day. As well, the Aussie strengthened too. The Aussie is trying to put in a higher low. 73.84 was the low, working back up towards resistance at 74.44, 74.54. We need to see it close out above there to be bullish on the Aussie. You have Chinese CPI and PPI. China is Australia's #1 trading partner, and they're going to affect the Aussie dollar tonight with that data. So keep an eye on that. Lastly, touching on the Japanese yen, we are seeing a little bit of a bear flag developing. We've talked about it on the FX Rundown. However, today's session and failure to follow through the downside has begun to negate that. Ultimately, we're seeing the yen close near the highs of the session. So be careful if you are selling, but there is weakness. In fact, the yen has been weak for months. We are now neutral, and we are less bearish than we were yesterday. So be cautious on that. Give us a call. We're here to talk about anything on the board, especially the FX, 312-278-0500. Email us info@bluelinefutures.com. You can check our website for updates, and you sign up for a free trial of our research there. But remember, futures trading involves substantial risk of loss. It is not suitable for all investors. Thank you.